Welcome to the Connected Leaders Academy virtual conference designed to reshape your vision of transformation. As we navigate the evolving business landscape, our speakers will unveil innovative strategies to manage and initiate change. Prepare to adapt, innovate, and lead, ensuring your role as a catalyst in this transformative era.
Hi. There comes a moment in every person's life when we stand at a crossroads. Do you remember in Alice in Wonderland, Alice asked the Cheshire Cat, "Which road do I take?" And the cat replies, "Where do you want to go?" Because one path keeps us confined within the walls of limitations, fear, doubt, past failures, and external expectations. And the other path is filled with possibility, but it requires something radical. It's the only thing standing between you and your dream. And it's the one radical thing. It's the moment you make a decision to go all in, to claim your power. And from this moment on, you refuse to let anything hold you back. It's the shift that changes everything. I remember vividly the moment it shifted for me for the first time. I stood calm and quiet and powerful, but my back was pressed up against the fireplace mantle, digging into my shoulder blade as the man that I was dating at the time was nose to nose with me, screaming in rage, out of control, because we are supposed to go see his mother. And I said I didn't want to go with him because of his erratic behavior, made me so nervous that I didn't trust my safety with him, being in the car with him or being with him at all. I wasn't sure if he was going to hit me or not, but I knew as I stood there, scared beyond belief, in extreme pain as I backed into the edge of the mantle of the fireplace and nowhere else to move, I thought, if I live through this, I will never, ever, ever let this happen again. And I made a decision at that moment that from now on, I'm not going to let anyone own my thoughts. My thoughts weren't for rent anyway, and they certainly weren't for sale. You own your thoughts, no one else. There will not just be one moment in your life where you're going to shift and everything is going to magically be different. There's going to be many moments over and over again. And in these moments, you're going to begin to understand that you have the power within to choose how you will react. We can't always choose our circumstances, and we all know so many things are out of our control. We always have control how we're going to manage, but sometimes we have to learn skills that help us manage them better. Before I took any personal development classes, I thought I can manage on my own. But my own way of handling things was anger that I hadn't dealt with from the past, programming that I grew up with, beliefs that I created from that programming. So that's how I would approach situations. And life is like a mirror, it reflects back what you put out. So I had to be open to learning how to forgive. I had to discover more of what brought me joy and inner peace so that I could manage my life better. And I did this through mentors, retreats, books, and personal development trainings. You become what you need in this world. Because now I'm a mentor. I run private events. I run private retreats, have written and contributed to 5 books, and I teach the personal development skills that shifted my way of thinking. Growing up with 4 siblings and loving parents in a middle-class home, I was very aware that we didn't have it all, but there were also people that lived big, beautiful homes and drove fancy cars. And there were many people that would love to live like us in a warm house with a television, with hot meals on the table, a dog or 2, a bed to sleep in, even if I shared it with 2 sisters. 3 beds in 1 bedroom. I can remember as you entered the bedroom, my older sister claimed that half of the room belonged to her, and that was attached to the walk-in closet. The bunk beds on the far end belonged to my younger sister and I, but my sister would tape down on the floor saying that, and it forbid us to actually coming into her section of the bedroom unless we had her permission. But that's how we exited the bedroom. So we had to ask for her permission to go into our bedroom and get out of there. And there were always threats. She was 5 years older. There were always threats. If you tell mom, then I'm going to do something. So we couldn't get out of our bedroom any other way unless we crossed. So we were always asking permission. And I think I was 10 when I realized if she isn't home, I don't have to ask permission. And I felt liberated at 10 when I started going into my bedroom without asking permission from someone who thought they controlled me. I would sit down at dinner with our family at that night, and I'd be so smug because I'm thinking, I went into the bedroom today without your permission. And she hated not knowing why I was so smug at dinner. I knew this. I grew up judged and manipulated by her. And as an adult, I learned how to lovingly forgive her and release her from my life once and for all. She'll always be my sister, but I get to choose who's going to be in my life. You get to choose who's going to be in your life. I also grew up in a time when I was programmed to ask permission to do anything. Not, can I go out and play, but may I go out and play? When I'd get to school and was sitting in my classroom, I still remember raising my hand and asking, can I go to the bathroom, please? And my teacher's canned response was, of course you can. But that is not the question. The question is, may I go to the bathroom? Well, may I go to the bathroom, please? Every time I was corrected, I was training my subconscious to ask permission. I was the middle child of 5 kids, and I didn't like getting in trouble. So I always played it safe. I wanted to play by the rules. Therefore, I was proud of myself when I learned how to ask permission for everything. The only problem is it created a pattern in me that made me wait for permission. And what it teaches us is to wait for permission. It's not your fault if you're waiting for permission to do something that excites you and lights you up. For years, you've been waiting for permission to be seen, to be chosen, to feel ready. But what if I told you that the only permission you need is your own? What if the moment you decide to fully commit to yourself, your dreams, and your purpose, everything realigns in your favor? This is not just about temporary motivation or a little sip of inspiration. This is about stepping into a new paradigm of power. True empowerment is not given, it is claimed from within. Give yourself permission to live your best life, to do what's in your best interest. Yes, you can, not may. I wish our teachers had said, when you have to go to the bathroom, please quietly leave the classroom and do so and return right away. That's it. Independence at a young age. Before we step into the shift, however, we must acknowledge the invisible chains that hold us back. These chains, they come in many forms of old conditioning and societal norms and trauma and self-doubt and fear of the unknown instead of curiosity and excitement of the unknown. So when we have a secure job with a salary, with a social security plan and health benefits, we tend to stay, even if we aren't happy, because we are fearful of the unknown. Instead of inquisitive, like a young child that asks, why 1,000 times until they get an answer that makes sense. We've literally trained ourselves to stay safe and secure and satisfied because there's somebody always worse off than ourselves, and there's always going to be somebody better off. But I ask you, is being satisfied your goal? Is being satisfied what you were shooting for your life? Are you listening to the whisper of past programming that we are not enough? that success is for others, and that happiness requires struggle and hard work. And if you're here, I'm going to guess that you are likely someone who works hard from sun up to sundown and then some. Sun up to sundown and then some. Because if you work hard, if you just put in more hours, you will succeed. As someone who has reached the age of what the world calls retirement, I say enough. It is about seeing what is working and doing that, and helping others do something that you are succeeding at, condensing the time it takes for them to learn. If you are wanting to claim your best life now, you must shift into the identity of the person that you wish to be, not tomorrow, not someday, but today. This moment, now. This is the shift that changes everything. It's a decision. You must be willing to break the chains. And the reality is, oh, the chains were never real. Take that in for a moment. They were only as powerful as the belief we gave them. Once we see them for what they are, we can begin to dismantle them. And that begins with one choice: refusing to be ruled by limitations. I was in year 9 of my job in an administrative role and had always been punctual, loyal, superficially cheerful, and a team player. I did my job to the best of my ability and generally got along with most of my coworkers, even the ones that made me grit my teeth to have a conversation with. Oh, good morning. Every day I walked up those stairs and down that hallway to my office and sat at my desk. And the first thing I did was rip out a part of my soul and put it in an envelope so that I could keep that job that didn't fill me with love, laughter, contribution, and joy. But it paid for the car that I drove, and it paid for the house that I lived in, and it paid for my expenses in life. Until one day, someone above your pay grade goes too far and pushes you too far, and you break, and you stand up, and you put your coat on, and you say, more colorfully than I'm going to say here, I'm done. I'm out of here. And the only thing you take with you is that envelope that holds all the pieces of your soul. Because somehow you're going to mend those back together to create the new you. And I remember the very moment I did that, where a sense of peace and a sense of calm came over me. It was a moment of transformation. And that moment for you happens when you make an unshakable decision. When you declare to yourself and to the universe, this is not how my story ends. This chapter is over. I don't know what lies ahead, but I know it's not this. Whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to go all in and nothing's going to hold me back. This is not a passive wish. It's an active commitment. It's waking up every morning and choosing to align with your highest self. It's aligning with your soul. It is refusing to allow fear to dictate your actions. It's stepping into a place where your dreams are non-negotiable. So write down your non-negotiables. Consider for a moment what happens when you decide fully and completely to own your power. You stop asking for validation. You no longer entertain self-doubt. You shift from I hope to I will. And in doing so, you're going to activate forces beyond what you can see, synchronicities, opportunities, and divine alignment. And this shift is the difference between wishing for change and becoming the catalyst for change. It is not about external circumstances aligning first. It's about you aligning first and everything else following. Because we can't control what's out there. What we can control is what's in here, going all in. It means eliminating all the exit doors. Picture that in your mind. It means showing up for yourself, even on the days when motivation is low. It means treating your growth, your healing, and your success as a non negotiable priority. It's attached to your why. Why are you doing this? For you? For your family? For making the most out of this life that you were given, no matter what? Imagine being that person who decides to pursue your purpose with everything you have. You don't even entertain the thoughts of what if I fail, because you understand that failure is only a stepping stone. It's part of the process. Failure at what you're doing means that doesn't work. What's next? It doesn't mean you are a failure. It means what you tried is the failure. Why did you fail? Because there's always a lesson to learn from anything you go through so that you will do better next time. And then you become relentless in your pursuit of what does work, not because you're fearless, but because you've shifted. You've chosen to rise above your fears, and you're no longer asking permission to live your life. You are not raising your hand and ask, may I give myself permission to pursue something that would fill my soul? You are saying, I can do this, and I'm taking a stand for myself. You're experiencing the benefits from your decision. The most powerful people are not the people who are afraid. They're the ones who refuse to let fear dictate their lives. They take bold action despite the fear. They speak their truth and stand in their worth and own their space in the world. This shift, it's not just external, it's deeply internal. It requires you to rewrite the story you have been telling yourself. Instead of, I'm not ready, your story becomes, I was born for this. Instead of, I don't have what it takes, you affirm, I have everything within me to succeed. Every limitation that exists in your mind can be rewritten. You hold the pen. And the most empowering realization is that at any moment, you can decide to write a new chapter. But you must surround yourself with people who are not afraid to celebrate your boldness and your success. Those who are not jealous of you, but wish to join you. One of the most powerful exercises you can do is to write out the old story that has kept you stuck, and then consciously write a new one until it becomes your subconscious story. That's where the power lies. This new story, it becomes your truth, the one where you're the hero and not the victim. You get to speak it, affirm it, and live it. Empowerment from within requires faith, faith in yourself, faith in the journey, faith in God, if you so believe, and faith in the universe, because all of it supports those who dare to step into their purpose. There are going to be moments when you don't see the full picture and doubt creeps in. This is when trust becomes your greatest ally. Trust that every challenge is strengthening you. Trust that every setback is redirecting you. And trust that when you choose yourself fully, life rises up to meet you in ways you never expected. I used to believe that life would always be a struggle until I made a shift. That shift being a decision that every day would either be a good day or a great day, and no other choices exist. When you believe in yourself deeply, the world is going to take notice. The energy that you carry shifts. You no longer beg for opportunities, you create them. You see the difference? You no longer wait for someone to choose you, you choose yourself. Radical self-belief does not mean you never doubt yourself. It means when doubt creeps in, you do not let it define you. You remind yourself of who you are and what you're capable of and why you are worthy of everything you desire. The moment that you fully embrace your own worth, the world responds accordingly. You will attract people and opportunities that align with your empowered state. You become magnetic to the life that was always meant for you. So give yourself permission to step into your power fully and unapologetically. This is your time. No more waiting, no more hesitation. You are ready to rise. Take the step. Trust your voice. Move beyond the fear and watch as everything changes. Empowerment is about becoming who you are meant to be. The journey is not linear. It is filled with moments of doubt and seasons of transformation and choices that demand your courage. But the one constant is this: you are always evolving into your highest self. The question is, will you embrace the becoming? Will you allow yourself to step fully into the person you are destined to be? Or will you hold on to an outdated version of yourself in fear? Your next level, it's waiting. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is a decision, a shift that changes everything, a decision to be open, to be willing to step forward. And one of the hardest parts of stepping into your power is releasing that identity that no longer serves you. You have maybe spent years believing you've had to be a certain way to be accepted. You maybe have built your whole entire life around a version of yourself that keeps you comfortable. But I pictured a vault and getting into that vault and shutting that vault behind me, and that person is done. And I locked the vault, never to be opened again, turning around and walking into the life that's ahead of me. That life is ahead of you. The moment you choose to become your truest self, you must be willing to let go of who you were before. And this means shedding old beliefs. Growth requires release. And though it may feel uncomfortable at first, what awaits on the other side is freedom. Transformation is not about mindset, it's about action. You cannot think your way into empowerment. You must step into it. Aligned actions means saying yes to opportunities that challenge you, setting boundaries that honor your worth, speaking your truth, even when your voice shakes, showing up fully for yourself every single day. Each bold step you take reinforces your belief in yourself. The more you act in alignment with your power, the more unstoppable you become. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step. And the path is going to reveal itself as you walk. People who own their own worth without apology live a better life. So, the moment you
Thank you for participating in today's enlightening session as we transition to our next expert. Remember that each strategy and insight is a step toward becoming a transformative leader in your field. Visit connectedleadersacademy.com to stay engaged and informed. The journey of change is ongoing. Let's move forward together.